Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 4. So I just finished up editing the last video and exporting it. Question for you. Do you think that people with the power of the Titans get weaker around Ackerman bloodline? Last episode, Annie had a line in reference to Kenny that she was hitting her limit around him. And Reiner said, "Limit, huh?" And then the conversation progressed. So I'm going to bring it up for you now because it's very interesting. And I was like, well, the Ackerman bloodline is something special, right?
I mean, their interaction alone definitely brought up some question marks for me.
Yeah. So it was right when they were outside of the what would you call it? Barracks of scout camp. And Annie's telling the gang what she's been up to, going through the sewers of the streets of the capital, you know. And then she says, "I've hit my limit if he's around." And then Reiner's like, "Your limit, huh?" And then, like, I don't know. It was a very, like, a random thought I had, but I thought it was interesting word choice, as well as, like, we know that the Ackermans are special, so I thought that idea could have been something worth talking.
Maybe. And I was thinking about this kind of scene and situation, too, myself, with why, at first I was like, why is Kenny there? What's up with this? And then I was thinking to myself, well, this scene is definitely before the big, Eren reveal of him being a Titan.
Yeah.
And so why would Annie be trailing Kenny? Well, Kenny has already started his relationship with the actual royal family. So Annie is obviously tailing him in order to maybe find the founding Titan.
And she was pretty close, no? I mean, from what we know, Kenny was pretty close. So it's I just think that again adds to my thought that we're gonna learn a lot about Annie, hopefully, and she's gonna have her own.
If anything, it tells me that she knew more than we thought that she
exactly
knew. Than we thought she was thinking.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to get into it. We've watched Attack on Titan. Today will be our second time, which is a rare thing for us.
We don't normally get the pleasure of getting to immerse ourselves into this world twice a day. So this will be this is unfounded. We've never experienced this, really.
Yeah, and I mean, could it be a better episode, potentially? Reiner had a gun in his mouth. Eren's right outside, and he doesn't even know it.
What's going to happen in this episode when we literally got the Eren, that's definitely him, he's there, he's talking to Falco. What is the next moment?
Just because I don't know if it'll come up again or if it ever, like, how often it would. Since it's the intro of the episode, that's the next episode of it. Sorry. I just want to give praise to last episode again and say that the score was great. And the dialogue especially was absolutely amazing. What happened last episode is absolutely amazing. And it was one of my favorite episodes of Attack on Titan.
The flow and the pacing and every little detail of last episode had my jaw on the ground for so many
I was the jaw
different
Titan.
Reasons.
And the backpack
We were
Titan.
all the jaw Titan.
Every fucking episode I'm realizing I'm a different Titan. God. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh! Do you hear the music? God damn it.
My gosh.
Making Falco a part of your schemes.
Using the sweet, sweet child.
Who was in line to murder thousands.
So many people.
Yeah.
Kind of smart of him to choose a name that's definitely found there. The last thing he would want is to have a conversation with someone being like, that's an uncommon name I've never heard of.
Yeah. So what do you think the letter is to? Do you think it's to somebody, it's like Jean or somebody else with like another teammate within the area of Marley that we have located. They're not going to send it across like the, the water.
It's to whatever household or whatever location someone else is, for sure. Maybe marking a time to start an event.
I would imagine it's saying that he found Reiner because, location.
From one hand to another, like passing the letter.
Or passing the power.
Hmm.
Oh!
Warhammer!
Whoa. Annie's a part of that family. I'm telling you right now. Annie's a part of the Tiber family. That was a stupid theory, but... Look at that nose. That's an Annie nose. Oh? Think it was an Ackerman?
I thought it was the Tiber family.
Oh, was it? What? Yes, make this even more complicated, please.
It's a little spooky.
It's a cool shot. He was there, and they're still, like, reluctant to hear his information. This show is fucking with me so hard by putting this soundtrack in.
Just an erase. And Reiner finally beat Annie when they were running away after Marcel got eaten. He totally said it! Oh!
Stop it.
Even the guards, like, know about this. What is this? I love that everyone's aware except Gabby.
Guitar, bass, and a flute, and then give me romance. What are you doing?
Quit drinking and grabbing girls, you geezer.
Huh.
An internment zone abroad.
Wow. I don't know. Kind of sounds like a trap.
こちらに解体工事が必要。老朽化が深刻でしたので。軍はあなたのものだ。軍は国家のものです。移行司令官はあなたです。私はソーダリンを握ったものだ。先代の誰もこれを握ろうとしなかったのが重すぎる。今
Warhammer?
でも手を離したいところだが、握らざるを得ない時代が来てしまった。順番が回ってきただけの男なんだよ。使える柱も残っていました。部屋にはすでにネズミが入り込んでいるよ。
やったじゃないかファルコ。グレーは上回るとは思いませんが、迷わず突き進めそうです。まあ俺の方だがな。なんで手伝ってくれた。
Oh.
家族の方からですか。
Do have baseball.
退屈だろうってな。この体には難しかったが、俺も進まないとな。故郷に帰るとする。先生が来ます。俺、
I feel like in a roundabout way, Aaron arranged the festival.
でもいいかね。
え
では失礼。診療医のイエーガーだ。
そしてクルーガーです。
Is
先ほどの
is that
少
his
年とは仲が
grandfather?
私も少年とは気が合ううちにこのベンチに腰掛け、エルディア復権派の幹部だにされ、その家族も例外ではなかったために戦士に志願し、物の巨人の継承権を得た役グライスケは、
俺にその話を。
お使いを頼むのはおやめなさい。スケの努力が無駄になってしまう。家族のもとにお帰りなさい。後悔を残してからでは遅いのだ。
悔いがあるよ。
This is so fucky. Oh my god!
He's a patient. He's a patient. He's a patient!
Oh, his life was just spared.
She's from abroad.
オグエの大使、子供の時以来だな。あなたを泣かしていましたね。あの時木から落ちた傷だな。今宵は誠にありがとうございます。
This feels weird.
I
This feels like a
know. I
trap,
feel
dude.
so weird right now.
憎いの敵は今日も敵。昨日の敵は今日の友。過去にあったこと新しく愛をあげようではありませんか。長き平和
Oh
に。
my god.
変高度な代物でした。かったようなので、あとは私に。
He's just like, you need someone that can keep all of them feeling okay.
皆様をレベリオ収容区に招待させていた。かつて多くの国の民を虐殺した私と同じ血が流れる民族とも虐げられたマーレは悲劇は繰り返された。節を願う気持ちはよくわかります。終わりのない問題に対して引き出しました。その回答を明日演出を務める舞台
Oh, a theater
production.
production.
歴史の目撃者に。
I don't want this episode to end. Ever. Damn.
Foods from everywhere. Oh, I feel like such bad things are gonna happen. Reiner's the sugar daddy.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh, something awful's gonna
Something
happen.
so bad
Oh
is
my
gonna happen.
god.
お前が欲張るからだろうが。
最近初めてのことばっかり起きるの。何かが変わった気がするの。
楽しんできたか？
あれ、知り合いを見つけたとかでどっか行きました。
その日に固いこと言うなって。
ブラウン秘書、
あんたどこ行った？
ちょっといいですか？
To introduce him to his friend!
いいんじゃない？
こっちです。
一体どうしたんだ？
こちらです。
Oh my god.
We're okay. We're okay. It'll be okay.
4年ぶりだな、ライナー。
I want to scream.
Alright, that was Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 4. So that was kind of a pointless after credit scene. I'm not even gonna try, sorry. That was me being sarcastic. That was a fucky episode. Is that a safe way to put it? Was a fucky episode?
Okay, yes. I think you could put it that way because normally at least you write down notes or I write down notes. Most of the time you write like lots more notes than I do. But I at least sometimes write like one thing or two during an episode, and I didn't write anything from that episode. And it was not because it was action packed or anything like that. Or I was like but it was because I was so like, what is happening with all of these new things?
Well, I wrote a little bit, but the main reason for that is this episode marks the completion of my first notebook in Attack on Titan. Every
Mine
page
is
filled up.
actually every page full too for my Attack on Titan notebook.
Yeah, I've completed it. This is my first book that I'm gonna hide in my drawer in my desk with a secret key that I'm gonna give to my son after.
Are you
he
gonna put
eats
like
me.
a photograph in there?
I don't know, maybe. But this episode, right? The Tybers are an interesting bunch, and I am gonna just put I very rarely say stupid theories because I have a lot of stupid theories, but I very rarely say them during the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going for it. Annie's a Tiber. I think I think Annie's a part of that family.
Maybe an off branch of the family?
I think there's a small chance Annie has the Warhammer and the female Titan.
That would literally be insane. That would blow my mind. I'm already like mind blown a little bit just about this whole like they're actually the ones in charge.
Yeah. And like just to go with that, come on. Genetics and things like TV, like casting, but also like anime. They're blonde, easy, blue eyes, easy, but the noses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that girl right there who kind of looks like Annie, right?
I mean, I can see where you're getting at a little bit. It would be literally blow my mind crazy if that ended up actually being the case. I mean, it does fit into that theory that he asks Commander Magath, would you be able to tell me who has Warhammer in this room? And he was like, no, I wouldn't.
I'm not confident that Annie has Warhammer, but I'm pretty confident that Annie's a part of this family. Another thing I really wanted to quickly touch on is the statue of Helos, which was the human who slayed the devil of all Earth. In this, I'm not like coming at the talent of the sculpting community within the world of Attack on Titan. All I'm saying is that this statue looks a bit different from either of the depictions drawn we've seen of
Ymir.
No, Ymir's the human.
Ymir was the devil of all Earth. Was the one that gave Ymir the power. Wasn't the one that this guy that Helos slayed. It wasn't it Ymir, right?
No.
Where did they find the devil of all Earth?
This said that this person slayed the devil of all Earth. A century ago, a mere human... Sorry, I just had it. A century ago, a mere human slayed the devil of all Earth.
Yeah,
and became the renowned Marleyan hero who saved the world.
But I thought
Helos.
saving the world was killing Ymir.
Well, if you killed Ymir, you'd still have the thing that gave Ymir the powers. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you didn't
That's just like a new... This is a new story to me.
Correct. This is a new story. This is a continuation.
I thought that we had heard that we had heard that this family had done something really, really big in the past for Marley in order to have this kind of, like, different treatment.
We don't know how Ymir died. We know that the Devil of Earth gave the power of the Titans to Ymir, and when Ymir died, that was split amongst 9 Titans called the Eldian Empire. And they defeated Marley for war, and then the Dark Ages started, then everything else. But
So why would you kill the devil that gave Ymir the powers if Ymir was the one causing you the issues?
because then you completely X out the idea of this ever happening again. You take away the root of the issue.
And if it's the family that wishes to atone, then I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, Ymir is just Ymir Fritz is just an apple that fell off of a tree. The thing that gave that tree nutrients to produce an apple was the Devil of all Earth. Kill the Devil of all Earth, you're not going to get any more apples, you know?
Gotcha.
So that's really interesting because we've never heard this before. We've never heard of Helos, and I think that Helos might have been an Ackerman, and
But Helos was a part of this family.
Was he?
Yes. Isn't that the reason that the Tibers are respected and that's why he wanted to see this statue?
Well, he just said he came to see the statue, right? He just said, dialogue. I came here to see the statue of Helos. And then explains what that is. A century ago, a mere human slayed the Devil of all Earth and became the renowned Marleyan hero who saved the world. Helos. So brave and beautiful, with not a scratch. Truly the spirit of Marley. I think him recounting this story is explaining away what is to come next episode. Yeah, so him recounting this... Did you change clothes?
Oh, yeah. Oh, looks like you did too.
Anyway, yeah, him recounting this story right now, I think, could be telling what to come next episode or alluding like a potential parallel for like how he plans this parade to go, or at the very least, plans for how he thinks the world is going to see him after he unveils this truth to the world, right?
Right. We have these secrets, or are they even secrets, that to everyone that the Tiber family really is truly in charge from the shadows. Who knows that? Is that something that the common people of Marley, the other Eldians, really truly know or understand?
Well, I would have trouble thinking that the majority of Eldians would go along with the belief and not think it's some joke, right? Because
how could we possibly really be in charge?
Because the Tibers are Eldians, right? If they are able to turn, then regardless of what the actual fact is, I'm going to assume for a second that the Tibers are Eldians, and then if they were told, the Marleyans, that it actually turns out that one Eldian was the person who gave freedom and power to
atone
to Marley in order to atone, they'd be like, oh yeah, right, that sounds like a Eldian
Would
bit.
it possibly make the Eldians kind of change their hatred towards somewhere else instead of the people on Paradis? If they realize that there is an Eldian family that's truly given this opportunity to the people that are causing them suffering, that has given them this power over all of the other Eldians, I believe it almost seems like the Eldians just believe they were the ones left behind. But if this is the narrative, then they were almost just handed over instead of left behind. They were just handed over to Marley as here are our people. I speak for all of them, and we are atoning by putting you in charge of us.
Yeah. It's interesting how they worded it, and also interesting what a person I'm trying to imagine that this main Tiber is.
I don't have a true gauge on him.
Well, okay,
at the
let's
moment.
look at the facts of the matter. He's underlyingly comparing himself to Helos, a renowned hero. He is, again, I assume an Eldian, but still seems to think he is important enough to distinguish other Eldians from himself. Like, in my mind, I'm looking at this guy who thinks that being an Eldian comes second to the fact that he's a Tiber. And, like, he's above, like, the Eldians. And obviously, like, he's in the shadows, right? But I don't know, he gives me energy of somebody who obviously thinks they are higher than the world, which might be the case, you know?
Self-importance. I mean, yes, maybe his family did do something that was big.
Yeah.
And obviously, if he's saying that they are the ones that gave Marley this power and this freedom and
Correct.
basically stopped war, it's almost like he's saying that it could be saying with this conversation, with the context, we are talking about how Marley doesn't really know the truth about war. It just exists in newspapers, and if only they were to hear bullets whizzing by their ears, you know, they'd want to stop trying to expand. And it's almost like with that context, then I start to think, well, did this Tiber ancestor just want to stop war as well? I mean, didn't the king leave because he didn't want to fight? So wouldn't they be almost on the same page of either not wanting to fight because they want to atone or not wanting to fight and running away? That's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
You're choosing to not fight, and you're choosing to relinquish something to the other side.
Yeah. I wonder how the event's gonna actually go down, because the way that he said that he was he planned to reveal the truth and Marley was in need of a hero. Do you think that he plans on killing everyone that isn't Eldian there? Because, okay, think about it in this sense, right? He is obviously talking about Marley, Eldia. Where do we know the festival's happening, and why is it different and weird? It's happening in the internment zone, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Am I getting that right?
Yes, no, it's happening in the internment zone.
Yeah, and if it's that's different, that's interesting. What are they going to be surrounded by in the internment zone? Eldians.
He's bringing this speech, this secret that he's going to tell everyone to the place that his people live.
Yeah, and if somebody wanted to and had the power to do so, they could turn everybody in there into a Titan.
That's true. We don't actually know what the Warhammer Titan can do.
Yeah.
We don't know what powers are available to the Warhammer Titan. I believe it's probably physically very strong.
Yeah. So I wanted to get into two different things regarding this whole Helos thing. One of them, I don't really know where to start. One of them, I guess, being with the lore of it and how it was defeated by a human a century ago, which is 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Without a scratch.
On Helos.
Yes, and I think that's very important, because to kill the devil of all Earth, I don't know the devil of all Earth very well. We haven't hung out a lot.
Is this what the devil of all Earth actually looked like?
But if it was true that somebody was slayed without a scratch on them, and they just came back with this harrowing tale of defeating this devil, I would imagine that the devil probably didn't see it coming or trusted this person and then was probably stabbed in the back.
It would further the argument that Helos was an Eldian. Right?
Yeah.
The devil of all Earth wouldn't think they were being slayed by the people that they gave a power to.
That's true. Especially if we are under the presumption that you're thinking that the hero was a Tiber.
Right. I am under that presumption that
I could see it.
Helos is a Tiber.
And the second point that I wanted to talk about was in reference to that, because I suggested that maybe he was an Ackerman, right? The person who defeated the devil of all Earth.
Which would also be an Eldian.
Yes, but think about this. I just thought of this when I was sitting here, because you just said it would be Eldian, right? No. what if the Ackermans are Marlians or something else? So I had like just the crazy theory thought, but think about narratively how much they'd be setting up the fact that we've never seen.
They couldn't be controlled.
We've never seen an Ackerman turn into a Titan, and we've been teased with it how many times with Levi and Kenny. Kenny was about to inject himself, and what if he did inject himself and nothing happened? Because he wouldn't have been Eldian.
Weren't they the family that was from somewhere else?
And that's what I'm getting to. Yeah,
that's why they were such a high market value on the underground.
Yeah, and so obviously we know they're from a different place. It could be
they can't be controlled by the king's changing of the memories or wiping of the memories.
And it obviously plot wise, narratively, it would be genius, wouldn't it? Like if they've been kind of teasing us with this.
To think of because we were told that the Ackermans were non-Titan, were human protectors of the king.
Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't work on them. The powers that be.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a really great theory.
So whether they're Marlian or something else, like a something we don't even know.
Well, we do know Eldia, the Eldians kind of conquered and/or stole and pillaged from other places, I believe, other than Marley.
Yeah, but we have a world now. You know, they could be from anywhere. It could be something else that the Devil of All Earth gave, like a different family, a different I don't know. I think it's an interesting point though. And I would love to eventually see, and hopefully we do see, the hero who apparently did save the world, killing the Devil of All Earth, because I don't know, it comes off weird.
The Ackermans are these super, because I think possibly attributing the Ackermans to this person, this human that could slay the Devil of All Earth fits for another reason, because how and why would the Ackermans have superhuman abilities? Wouldn't it make sense somewhat to you, just narratively, that if a human was able to conquer a devil,
maybe they would get some sort of the powers kind of passed down.
Then maybe something about you was superhuman already.
Yeah.
Or from that event, and then you pass it into your family.
It's interesting. Next in the episode, we get look at a mountain, or not a mountain. Sorry, I'm an idiot. A map. But
it's another M word.
It's the island, the paradise, right? We can see the walls.
I think you said mountain because it says you get to these mountains up north.
That's probably why I said it. But I am so happy seeing this. We see Reiner giving instruction to the Marlians, who are kind of doubting his intelligence.
What the hell is that about? It's so idiotic, and it fits with what we got from Reiner, the episode before this, with them as kids being like, well, Marley's researchers told us this and this and that, and it was Marcel that was I believe kind of a little, or Berthold, one of them was a little skeptical of Marley's researchers having, because they were like, why are the Titans this far out? They shouldn't be.
You know what I would do if I was in charge of this mission? So I'm looking at the map, right? There's a lot of rivers and waterways that go within the walls. If I wonder how deep they run. Obviously they're somewhat small, but if you had the technology, you could soup up a submarine and then try to get through undetected under the water. We know that they're
deep enough for boats to be going through the gates,
But they're probably not deep enough for that. But I would love to strategize how we take the wall ourselves,
I honestly, I'm put some snorkels on or something, kind of swim up. Because interesting, because we know, think about it. Remember the guy that tried to dig under the walls and couldn't do it? So the waterways are not crossing necessarily in the outer wall at places where there is a gate and an opening within the actual foundation of the walls that we know is made out of Titans. So how does that water get through? Does it get through a small hole? Is there a gate there?
I don't know.
I mean, we're not plotting war against Paradis, but I mean, these are some interesting questions to ask.
it's interesting that they have like different areas labeled different things too. Like I wonder if they have names for different like
they have names for different areas on the map. Obviously we can't read it. It does not look like a real language to me.
If wouldn't the best idea be to fly overhead and for Zeke to just turn all of them into
Yes.
Titans?
Why
Like every resident?
why do they not just
Because the founding
use
Titans'
airship?
potential power too. Oh, I don't know. But wouldn't that be the best? Like, if you're going direct, like, wouldn't that be the best area of attack? Not that it's going to happen. Obviously, we find out at the end
Remember
of the
how
episode.
they said that all of the ships were sunk?
Yeah.
Why aren't you sending any airships with more Titans? Like, obviously that like they have a bunch of Eldians they definitely feel like they want to get rid of. So why not just drop more Titans for them to have to deal with?
I don't know. That's a really, really good question because obviously if they're just kind of like, oh, Eldians, whatever, they could just get another plane full and take it over. I don't know if it's the range. I don't know if it's maybe they don't want to risk anybody within Paradis seeing the technology of these airships.
It's just interesting because we know that Titans can walk underwater. And so I'm sure that Aaron and Armin could also get into the water with the ships, let alone throw things at them.
Yeah.
But something really high up in the sky, we brought it up. We're waiting for a flying Titan. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's got to happen.
How would they explain that to me?
A flying
How
Titan?
would they make that work? Because all of these Titans are slightly based on humanistic body forms.
You give them wings like a bat, so technically they can't fly, but they can glide if they're like thrown or jumped
with
off
some
something.
like flabby skin.
Yeah, like the wingsuits that like people skydiving
Yeah,
wear.
so it's just like a flap of skin, so
Yeah.
they can glide. Okay.
Like a bat. I could see them doing that. That seems more realistic than like, you know, just floating in the air. Dragon Ball
I think
Z.
it's based more in actual like
Yeah.
what is a body
Hey,
made out of.
I was thinking about this. Do you think the other was it 4X1 that we got the whole like people flying in the sky with swords?
Oh yeah, that was Falco when he was, I guess, knocked unconscious and or hit his head at the very beginning.
Are we dumb to think that it's like a Titan thing?
Well,
and
we thought at first.
Well,
that
no,
he might
isn't
be a
it
Titan.
isn't it like isn't it the scouts? Right?
Isn't what the scouts?
People flying with swords? Like
I never thought about them as flying people with swords. You're so right.
But
if the scouts infiltrated the city, what would it look like to the Marlians? Like flying people with swords. If they were attaching to buildings and whizzing around,
yeah.
that's exactly what it would look like.
When I was so Anna's dad just got to the 4th season of the show,
Yes.
and we are sharing with him the physical Blu-ray that we got so he can watch it along at the same time or a little bit behind us. And when I was getting the first Blu-ray ready, it went back to 4X1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I feel like one of the first scenes, right? It was very early on,
Yeah.
but when that came up and I saw it, I was like, that's what we already have,
Mm-hmm.
like in our world. But then I'm like, that fucks me up more because we tried to have a conversation about what Falco, how he could have these memories of Titans flying with swords, and if he knows of scout people before they're even there, then that fucks it up even more.
See, if we're thinking about this connection, like
Mhm.
we had a theory that Grisha was able to know of the attack through Aaron and his wife being like, maybe that possibly that timing was all connected through Aaron before Aaron even had the attack Titan. If Falco is eventually supposed to inherit a Titan,
Any
then
Titan.
any of them, then he is going to be connected to this future of something happening and maybe seeing the scouts.
I think it automatically confirms it from episode 1 that it is a fact that at some point Falco's getting a Titan.
Mhm.
Any of the Titans,
narratively, they're totally pointing to it.
Well,
whether or not it's Reiner's.
every Titan has knowledge that we know so far, maybe other than the Tybers, have knowledge of ODM gear now, right? Every Titan there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Because Porco would have gotten it from Ymir,
mhm.
and obviously Zeke and Peak went over there and fought with Levi. So
It just
yeah.
we don't know what they're gonna get. We just know that could be it. If that's what they're talking about, fingers crossed. Hopefully, a Titan gets a sword.
I do want to. You brought up episode 1, and you brought up my father watching, and it made me think of something really important about this show, and that is that if you are not paying 100% attention during an episode, you are going to miss
How much
something.
have we missed? Like
Exactly. So we're gonna use my dad as an example here.
It's been a day since we recorded. Obviously, changing shirts. So we had to go to work. So we had a little bit of time to think about stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
So we're gonna use him as an example of what you can miss if you're not paying 100% attention to the show when you're sitting down watching it. So my dad basically catches on to pretty much everything. You know, everything's going good. He's like, oh yeah, I just saw this happen. I'm like, we know what episode he's on because, you know, he's on like our account or whatever. And so we know what's a spoiler and what's not when we're talking to him. And he was like, yeah. And Zeke is definitely, he calls Erwin Kendall. And so he was like, yeah, Zeke is definitely Kendall's father. And I was like, wait, what episode is he on? And I like looked what episode he was on, and he had already seen Marley. And I was like,
no. So he said he thinks that Zeke is Erwin's son.
Father. Zeke is Erwin's father.
That's right. Yes, he thinks that Zeke is Erwin's father after episode 1, when it's
he hasn't watched episode 1 yet.
But no, I'm saying that like it's after episode 1. We didn't get any more information really. It was just the end of episodes. It was the end of season 3 that like confirmed that Zeke was
and
Aaron's
so he had this theory
half-brother.
running from the moment he saw Zeke, you know, actually, and he had this theory, and of course we were humoring him with this theory because we weren't going to spoil it, but he got to the end of season 3 still believing that Zeke was Erwin's father. And I was like,
confused.
You didn't
Granted,
pay attention to something.
He watches dub and we watch sub, so that might be it, but I don't know. It seemed pretty on the nose,
we literally only texted him one thing. We didn't like text him like the truth. We just texted him a screenshot of Zeke as a child holding the orangutan doll. And we sent him that. Mm-hmm. And he goes, he's holding the Beast Titan and as a doll. And we're like, uh-huh. And then he started to like think about it more, and he realized it like immediately after we sent him that picture. And he was like, how did I miss that? Yeah. And I'm like, honestly, that's the thing. He was probably watching late at night, and it just fits with the fact that this show, if you are not sitting in your chair, if you get up to go to the bathroom, if it's late at night and you're not really paying attention, you are going to miss some pretty major detail that's nonchalantly given to you.
It was a bit of introspection because I'm sitting here like a day ago bragging like, oh, I got a full notebook full of information from Attack on Titan. First 3 seasons, I have it all. Now I'm like, what an idiot I am probably. Like I'm gonna sit down for the rewatch and I'm gonna be like, what? Like
I think it's because so much of the information that's given to us is just so unpredictably, nonchalantly just given to us. It's not an announcement. Information is hardly ever an announcement of information, and sometimes you just like barely it just kind of maybe goes in one ear out the other. Yeah, you don't know what you're trying to pay attention to, you don't know what you're looking for. And honestly, like if I hadn't truly been listening at that time on the walls when Reiner was like, yo, Aaron, I'm the armored titan. Yeah. Bert holds the claw. If I was like looking down at my phone, if I wasn't listening, I could have just missed that nonchalant, just kind of giving of information. And like, what else have I actually missed? Have I missed anything at all? We're obviously watching this in a different form than maybe we would have if we were naturally watching this, just sitting on a couch with like popcorn late at night. Yeah. We're obviously really trying to pay attention and really trying to get the best viewing experience. I think we'd
still like be dissecting it and stuff. I just don't think we'd keep notebooks. Yeah. I like just like talking about that and like looking back. I have a question for you that's pretty broad. Now that we like think back when we were in season 1 and really experiencing it, we saw these naked giant things like panicking and running and killing people, right? We had them eating people, but when they did eat people, they threw them up in these cat
those
hair
glorious,
balls. They lack reproductive organs, as we learned in episode 5 of season 1.
We tried so hard to figure out how more Titans were created. We're like, if they don't have reproductive organs, then how do more get created?
Well, okay, no. So we have all that information, right?
Mm-hmm.
We also have the information that originally only one person had the power of the Titans, and then it was passed down to more people, and then those people had offspring, and it went down. All that information noted. What is it? What is the thing that the Devil of All Earth gave to Ymir Fritz? Because
it definitely wasn't an apple or fruit, whatever it looks like in the pictures. Or was it an apple for, like, the religious kind of symbolism?
Is it did she give Ymir Fritz godly power that was then diluted and turned into something that is kind of like a curse? Or was it a curse from the beginning? Because when I'm thinking of how the first 3 seasons had very clearly set up Titans as the enemy, and how I felt about Titans as an enemy, it's flipping the fact that all these Titans are actually people. But if the people who are so feared being the Eldians, like, oh, they're all powerful, they're like, it's kind of a frightening existence to think, oh my god, if this one fluid gets into my body, then I turn into this creature that doesn't have reproductive organs and can never do anything
or
again.
Like think.
Yeah,
or like really
it sounds
think for
pretty
yourself.
torturous.
Like,
I know that wasn't what was originally given, but that's what it is now.
The poor like
mass.
Eldians in general, because not only does Marley have the ability to use this as a consequence for them, the top Eldian, the founding Titan, and even the Beast Titan have the ability also to do this to them without their approval. And this non-consensual on both ends, on both parties being able to do something kind of perverse and horrible and almost torturous to people that we don't believe can even be reversed unless you eat someone who has a founding Titan power.
Which there's only so many of.
Which there's only so many of. I'm like, this is cruel and gross, and you have one side that's exploiting the power that another side holds, but both of them have the power to do something really, really perverse and horrible and torturous to their own people.
Well, like, oh yeah, the power to what is the power?
What even is it?
Like, what did Ymir get?
A giant baby? Like,
no.
What is this power?
Like flat out, what did Ymir get? Because at that moment, it's no control over anything else. Because there's nothing else to control. There's no Eldians to control at that point. So what does Ymir get?
What was the original power? Because obviously whatever stemmed from it, these other Titans we have are definitely not... There might be reiterations of some of the power that she had.
It's a causation of the power. But the power that was given to her from...
Or an evolution of it.
Yeah. From everything I can tell, the power must have just been to you yourself turn into a Titan. That's it. Like that. Like that's all I can think it being. Because what else would it be? Like,
you're so right on. Like, Ymir Fritz. If Ymir Fritz had this new ability to control, she couldn't have. I mean, if we're thinking about the timeline of consciousness, I guess you could say that she would be connected, because I was like, oh, how could she have turned Eldians if they were before she got this power Eldians? Well, if we're talking about a circle of consciousness, a circle of connection, then Ymir Fritz is related to can control anyone of this ancestral kind of cycle of everyone being related through Eldia. And was Eldia even a thing before Ymir Fritz? I'm sure she had family, so anyone that was related to her. And then that just the cycle. Does it dilute if you have people that maybe marry outside of Eldian,
Well, that's what happened, right?
would it dilute? But it didn't dilute with Reiner. It seemed like he could use the Armored Titan very well, and he was half Marleyan.
Well, diluting's a good point, because technically it is technically the second that Ymir Fritz gave Titans to how many other people?
9. There were 9 Titans after she was gone.
After Ymir's power was divvied up into 9 Titans, I'm in my head thinking that is diluting it. Like, it's already been diluted at that point. And what
Are they getting less and less strong? I mean, I know how they were talking about how this current Beast Titan is the Wonder Boy, is the most strong of the Beast Titans. And no duh, it's royal blood that they don't know about. But are the Titans inherently getting weaker and weaker and weaker? It's a good question.
Well, obviously we know nobody can use the extent of their power unless they're from that royal bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that question is answered, but it's the original power that I have a lot of questions with, because we got the name in 3x21, we got the name of it as the Curse of Ymir, the fact that you only live for 13 years after you get it. Who the fuck picked 13? Isn't
that one of Taylor Swift's numbers? I'm pretty sure that's one of Taylor Swift's numbers.
I should know this. But I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of answers there. I don't know if they're it's an answer that's going to fill in a bunch of holes that we have or anything, but I think it's an interesting question.
13 should be significant.
It should be.
Is it significant in order to stop the curse? Is something 13 is maybe 13 steps down the tree? Like the 13th person to inherit this Titan is the one that is going to, maybe that's what one of the, a lore could be. The 13th person to inherit this power is the one that is going to stop the cycle.
Maybe. But the 13-year thing's weird.
It's such a specific number.
I'm going through just loosely to see if I see the number 13 just popped up anywhere.
I don't think that I've,
because it is a very, very specific number. Interesting though, not that I found 13, but just if we wanted to reminisce for a second, Petra had 10 kills, 48 assists. Aldo had 14 kills, 32 assists. Olvo, there you go. Olvo had 39 kills, 9 assists. That was good. And Gunther had 7 kills, 40 assists, all in their own people.
You wrote that down. It was going to be so important. It was vital information.
That's one thing that's happened a lot.
We really did think that these characters were going to be with us for a really long time.
I tend to write things down that never come into play again.
Ooh, yes. These people are going to be really pivotal to the story. Very important.
Yeah.
I need to know how many kills they got.
But I don't know. I guess bring it back to the episode at hand. I think that I don't know how we see Ymir Fritz get the Titan power, because we're gonna see it in my mind. I think that it's inevitable that we get to see the truth, maybe. And if we do, it has to be through somebody's eyes who was there or remembers it. And if it's somebody who remembers it, it has to be somebody with the founding Titan powers. And maybe other ones. I don't know. I don't even know, man. I don't know. Do you have any ideas? What's going on?
No. I mean, these questions are getting to a point where they are totally out of our grasp. And we don't even really have evidence to support whatever theory we could come up with of what would be the truth to those questions.
Yeah. I do think it was interesting that the death of the Devil of All Earth coincided with the memories being altered and then leaving to Paradis. What do you think that's about? Because it happened a century ago that the Devil of All Earth was slayed by what's his name? Helos, and it just so happened that 100 years ago that also happened.
Maybe that was a step toward atonement. Maybe that's what, I'll go slay this Devil of All Earth, so this never happens again, as my way to atone for what my people have done. And of course that would be at a time where people were being passive to wanting to continue fighting Marley. And we already said at the beginning of this second half of the discussion that obviously the king and Helos, the Tybers, were in similar boats of not wanting to continue the war and or being sorry for what they had done.
You think the power changed once the Devil of All Earth died?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know exactly what could have been done to it after that.
Yeah, like did it turn into some real curse?
Did it actually become a curse after that?
I don't know.
Was there never the 13-year aspect of it?
Good question. I did write down in my notes about this episode, fuck you, AOT, for the music. And that was, I think, in regards to the scene where Gabby had finally been beaten by Falco and, like, everybody's realizing it. There's, like, really upbeat, like, acoustic guitar, some flutes, some bass.
It's very festival-like, which is going to fit with later in the episode.
They're talking to the guards, like, joking around with them. And then Falco, like, confesses
basically
his love.
Confesses. Yes, it's a very lighthearted feeling. To even have the guards who obviously we know should not be entirely nice to Eldians in general, but they almost act like these future honorary Eldians are separate.
Yeah.
From this. They're very playful with them. They're like, "Oh yeah, we know you've had a crush on her." Like they're aware of these children. Like they've truly actually let themselves know these children and not just thought of them as filth.
Yeah, which is interesting to see. What, I guess, do you think the plan, the Tiber plan is going forward? What do you think that tomorrow entails, or the festival entails?
I gotta say that first off, that I liked Commander Magath. I think he's a commander. In the first episode, he wasn't the one saying the really gross, annoying things. It was the like chubby guy behind him that was like piping up behind him, being like, "You're an Eldian scum, don't talk like that to him," or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was always just very cut and dry, like he knew the facts of this world.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily his emotion was in it, like he believed those facts. It was more just, these are the facts of the world we live in. You are an Eldian and this is how we treat Eldians. It wasn't driven by his own, like, it didn't seem like he had his own bias or emotional hatred. When he was saying these things, it just sounded like he is just talking like he's lived in this world and he understands how this society works.
Yeah.
And that's why I was really happy here to see him kind of almost have some motive to change what their world is like.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily know exactly what that motive is other than not having war anymore.
Yeah.
And he has respect. He says that the military will follow the leader of the nation. And to him, he's basically saying, you are the leader. I think of you as the leader.
Yeah.
He's not saying that, he's saying it more like inconspicuously, but that's basically what he's saying. Is that I will follow your lead.
Yeah. I wonder, I think something's wrong with him. Not General how do you pronounce his name? I don't want to get it wrong. The general?
Magath?
Magath. I like General Magath a bit because like he's very like I don't think there's anything more to him. But
he seems just matter of fact to me.
Yes, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Tiber, I feel like something is going on with him in regards to Titan power or some big power. Maybe it is the Warhammer thing. But, like, I'm reading along the lines between Magath and him in the courtyard, and Magath is pointing out that the military serves the nation, and this nation's supreme commander is you, to the Tiber family, right? But then, if you'll read with me the next lines, it it turns a little bit. That's not quite true in reference to who holds the power, right? Who has the power right now? Because to Magath, it's all Mr. Tiber here. But he's saying that isn't true. I'm simply the one who holds the wheel. So he's not saying that he wields the power and has absolute power. He's just kind of the face at the moment, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. I feel like when I hear the phrase, I'm simply the one that holds the wheel, it connects to the fact that he's just a user of this power that is bigger than himself.
But if you read the next line too, and then the next two lines, so it says, that's not quite true. I'm simply the one who holds the wheel. Now I know why my predecessors never tried to grab it. And then look at him here. It's so heavy. And then say his name again.
Magath.
Magath is like giving him the side eye, and he says, I wish I could let go at this very moment, but a time has come where I must not. It just happened to me.
It happened to be me.
Is that what
it
he
happens
said?
to be him. That he is the one that needed to grab it.
Yeah, it just
or
happened
had
to be
grab
me.
it.
I'm simply the man this responsibility fell upon.
Fits
And
with
then-
maybe a possible fated story
Correct.
of a time that something was going to be happening.
Magath then continues to go about his business, but look at Tiber. He's like shaking. And I'm like, what's that connected to? Is it like a Tiber curse? Is it like a Tiber memory that's been passed on and faded? Or is it something that's like the mainstream of memories?
I mean, it also just could be the reality of he's going to be acting. That the Tiber family always just sat on a pedestal and never acted and were treated well. And maybe he's just going to be the one that has to act again, like his original ancestor that wielded the Warhammer that got the Tibers the respect that they have now.
Okay.
It could just be a fear of being the one that has to put themselves out there and maybe even risk their own life.
I don't think he has the power because if he does, I don't know.
I think he does.
If he does, and he only has so many years left, and that's the wheel that he's talking about.
I wrote down, why is he making this speech now? And why was he so kind of, the way that he spoke about, I just needed to see Helos now. It's almost like a man preparing for his own, like, last year. His time is coming to an end.
Or someone who is being told and instructed to do something. Whether that is from, like, a Titan thing, memory, and he does have it, or the character who's underground right now. We saw Aaron sending out letters. We don't know what the fuck he's been up to the past 4 years. What if he is somehow controlling things behind the scenes and he... Okay, this is my...
It would take a while for them to explain that to me.
This is the biggest question. Is Aaron here because the parade's happening and the Tiber speech is happening? Or is the Tiber speech happening and the festival happening because Aaron's here? This does not happen often.
It is odd to have all of these things coexisting at the same time.
Wow.
Unless there is a faded lore that is passed down within the Founding Titan that the Warhammer Titan Tiber original family also keeps a secret and passes down. That there is a time that will be coming, that Yuri saw, basically, that something was coming to a head.
It's like, if this was just this dude alone, fine. But the fact that Aaron's here too, it's one or the other to me. Aaron's here because the festival's going on, or Aaron arranged the festival. I love just imagining Aaron party planning and like arranging vendors and face painters. But oh my god, that's a whole side arc I need. But there's a plan here. Like, Aaron's obviously been sending letters. He's completely infiltrated. He's seen his grandfather-ish and visited him in a mental asylum. Mm-hmm. Like what's happening from Aaron's perspective next episode?
How would the letters get to... I'm like hearing this theory and stuff, and so I'm just gonna like ask one question that would like poke at the possible, like, you know, an issue that might be there. So when Aaron was mailing the letters, he obviously had some inconspicuous place that he was mailing it to, where it wouldn't seem odd to Falco that he was mailing it to this person or to this place. But if the Tiber is such a family that is so prestigious and so, I don't know, maybe even like heavily secured, it would probably be hard for Tiber to obtain letters from Aaron inconspicuously. Unless under a fake name or in a fake location that wasn't his own house.
We still have restorationists who I presume exist.
Yes. I'm sure they still exist.
Think they could help if Aaron has found them. That being said, we also have Titan powers on our side and don't know what we've done in the meantime. We have Levi, right. We have Mikasa. I know we haven't been here before, but it's been 4 years. We could have snuck in and made a power play. Aaron could have... Aaron's here while Mikasa, Armin, and Levi and Hanji, or more so Levi and Hanji, are practicing their torturing skills on one of the Tiber family members, forcing this guy to do this. You know? Like, we don't know what the fuck's going on from Aaron's perspective.
Could someone that with the is someone, the founding Titan, coming here really something that the Tibers would be afraid of? Because could the founding Titan truly hold power over the Warhammer Titan, which would then cause it to be an issue for the Tiber family of they wouldn't be able to stand up, whether they wanted to or not, against the founding Titan.
Yeah. I think that, like, we have to... I think the one thing that I might be most confident ever saying in this entire series is that Aaron is here for something.
Yes.
Right?
Which we haven't gotten to what we... I mean, at the end, we haven't gotten to what we think that ending of last episode.
One of my...
why he's there, why he wants to have this conversation.
One of my stupid thoughts that I've already disproven was that somebody that he loves is about to die. Whether that's Mikasa or Levi or Historia, and he tried to come bargain with like Reiner to like give me the power to save this person. That's not happening. Okay. It's disproven. It's gone. He's been here too long being all fucky and sussy, you know, the Aaron Yeager way.
But also I doubt Aaron would ever think that he could convince, unless it was Historia. Unless it was Historia. I think that's the only person that anyone would entertain. Oh, maybe Reiner will let Historia eat him.
Yeah, but which I thought was like a fun, it's a fun, silly thought, you know, that isn't too serious.
Be a little
but
silly Billy.
You have to think about everything when Aaron's being all fucky, wucky, sussy with the Mr. Kruger shit. Like he's like it's weird. But what's going on with him right now. So I think that the fact that something is going on with him and he has a plan has to be addressed. And since it isn't anything else I can figure out, I'm like, well, he plans to do something right now, kill everybody above ground, but he didn't want Reiner to be there for some reason. Or he's either trying to save Reiner, give him a chance. He's either done the math so he knows Reiner only has so long to live, so he's trying to get the power before he dies. Maybe that's why they're here now, because they're like, okay, well, we only know that the powers within Reiner and Zeke, but that isn't going to be the case past this amount of years, you know? Let's go now. I don't know.
I mean, like, Reiner is basically the only current Titan that Aaron could possibly reach out to switch sides or to not fight or to ask to not fight. They have a history, and honestly that's one of maybe like 3 ideas of what Aaron would want to have to do with Reiner here in this having Falco bring Reiner to him conversation. There's only a few things it could be.
Yeah.
And why he would do that?
I don't know. I imagine that Falco's somehow going to end up with Reiner's power. I just don't know how it's going to come to be. Like, if that's I don't know. But onto the scene, I guess, where Kruger was talking to Yeager, right? Mm-hmm. Talking about how Falco's uncle was a leader of the Restorationists. Which is very interesting, right? Is that saying that Falco and Aaron are somehow related?
Wasn't the guy that brought Grisha into the Restorationists, wasn't he blonde.
Yes.
Not that that means anything, but it wouldn't be put it past, like, I wouldn't put it past to that be,
Like
to that person being actually
I think it could be
someone
cool.
referenced in the story. To just a little like fun fact, a little nugget, like how when we get Ilse's notebook and we get Ymir, we also get a Titan that resembles the woman that was that basically was pushed off the wall with Ymir.
Yeah.
And I could see that nugget of his uncle was a leader of the Eldian Restorationists. Well, I could see the person bringing, or it couldn't be Kruger, no. But I could see it possibly being the person that literally brought Grisha into the thrall of it.
I'm trying to see if I wrote down anything like from episode 20, if we got like any names from.
We might have gotten his first name. I
Yeah.
don't know if we got. And I remember him being like, I shouldn't have brought you. I shouldn't have brought you to the Restorationists. Like, it only happened because of you.
But I think that would be an interesting connection, unless we're missing something that's more obvious or something not there at all. Restorationists are sent to Paradise or Paradis, and not you. Have we been? Is it Paradise, or is it just what he's saying because that's what they've turned it into?
So yes, it's called Paradis, but they call it the Paradise of the Eldians as like almost their own. They think they're funny.
To protect their family, he and his brother trained to be warriors. And when his brother was chosen to... Okay, so do you think that they were found guilty as members of the family and then given like an option? That because like part of me is like, oh,
for the family because they were children.
Yeah, but like part of me is like, okay, wouldn't you want like the quote unquote best of the best, most trustworthy people to be the ones to inherit the Titans? So like I'm wondering
think
if
want the scared people to you killed these children's families and you left them alive, and so now you have this power over them of we killed your family.
Yeah,
we turned them into Titans and pushed them off a wall, and you're now going to raise these children in the ideal that you wish them to be in.
I think that is the more likely option. I thought the other option would have been that, oh, our uncle was just found out. To play it safe, let's go like dive head into patriotism and try to like
Wait, he does say to save their family. How do they choose just a handful of candidates? Is there like a written test? Is it like their grades or their athletic ability, and then like the top 6 kids are chosen to become candidates? Like, how does it actually happen?
I don't know. But Jaeger calls out Aaron and says, or Mr. Kruger, if you're truly healthy, you should go back to your family. Someday you won't see them anymore. Don't wait and live with regret.
And it's funny because that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Technically, he could be healthy, but his mind is broken because he's living with regret. So it's almost like he's talking about himself too. Like, go back to your family.
In my mind, there is no way this isn't like intentional from Aaron to be sitting with his relative right now. Like,
he was originally sitting on the bench.
I know, but I think he's at the facility and somehow knows that a relative's there because, like, what, plot convenience?
Well, I'm sure he would have known. I'm sure he would have known eventually after hearing the name that that's who this guy was.
Yeah. That day my son took my daughter outside the walls. It's because I was too strict about him becoming a doctor. Do you think Aaron has the power to transmit Grisha's memory of or thought of dogs around Faye into the grandfather and is fucking torturing him right now? Like, look at the looks that Aaron's like looking at him with. Ready?
So you're saying, is Aaron using his founding Titan power basically to implant memories into this old man's head to have him do like a psychotic break?
For fun. Like, let's think about it like that. Yeah? Like, cause like okay. Not gonna lie, coming back a day later and rewatching a scene is definitely a little bit like helpful in a sense because it makes you how weird something could be, or it could make you read into something completely wrong. But this gives me way weirder feelings rewatching it this time around than watching it live. And you just see somebody in the background banging their head against the cement wall. You see, I'm going to back it up a couple more seconds so I can add the dialogue, like the audio to it too. Because it's such an eerie scene. And you can see Jaeger start to break more and more and more, where at the start of the conversation, he was very well composed. But obviously you can make the argument that it's Jaeger's like just memory and bringing it up, you know? But the way that it played out, like...
It was just, it was a very, I didn't think I would ever get it kind of scene. I was surprised that he blamed himself at all.
Look how Aaron's looking at him. It's very bizarre, right?
Yeah.
Like...
I actually believed he was truly a doctor there at the beginning until the screaming. And then once he started screaming, I was like, he's a patient!
So my question for you is, what's the last one?
What's the last one? What do you mean?
Watch. What's the last one?
The last one is all of them when the body was identified.
Who's all of them?
Grisha and his parents.
So what's the first one?
Just the dogs eating the girl.
So of it happening.
Yes.
Did we see... How did we see it happening?
All we saw was almost like we were the perspective point of view of Faye. Grisha wasn't there.
I know.
No one was there. Except for the Marleyans that were doing that to Faye.
I
think this is all just,
I felt like...
What's it called? Dramatic.
I know.
This isn't like what we've truly seen or what our characters have seen themselves.
Grisha saw it when he was being told of the truth that happened. Whether that was not him actually seeing it or being able to visualize it.
I think it was us being shown it.
We saw a visual.
Yes.
This is the same visual.
No.
Yes.
This is not the same visual. This visual we saw was Faye on the ground, and then the three guys with the dogs, and then the father.
I'm not saying you could take this frame and replace it into when Grisha saw it. I'm saying it's of the same event that's happening.
Yes.
Dogs are eating Faye right now. Mm-hmm. And Grisha was shown that, or thought of that, once Kruger told him that it happened, correct?
Well, he already knew it happened because he saw Faye's
I know,
body.
but follow, like, the train of thought, okay?
Okay.
Try to. I know I'm crazy. We did see Grisha on top of the wall with Kruger being told the truth of what happened to his sister. That happened.
Well, he was basically given the yes, what you believe happened to Faye truly is the way that it happened.
Correct. And with that, accompanied an image of Faye being eaten by dogs. Mm-hmm. Correct. That memory of all of that happening, with the image included of Faye being eaten, was shown to us through Aaron experiencing it. That memory. And seeing his father's past. What we saw from everything about Grisha's life, Aaron saw, correct? Mm-hmm. So if Aaron saw that and is staring at his grandfather, who is beginning to recount that situation, and we have an image that is shown multiple times through this conversation after he's identified himself as Mr. Kruger, who is the person who told Grisha about it in the first place. And then we see the dogs around the body of Faye while Aaron is looking at him with a very bitchy face. And then it flashes to what I believe to be him, maybe his wife, and Grisha looking at the scene of the crime. Aaron's face is expressionless to the point of me thinking that he knows this happened, because we saw him know it happened.
He did know that it happened.
And he is bringing that up within his grandfather. Why would his grandfather feel this bad about it? He never, like
Because
just guilt?
he's lived all of his years knowing that not only did his daughter die, but now his son is dead.
How do you think Eren...
He's traumatized.
If-
He's gone mental because of all of the stuff that's happened to him, and he feels like he didn't protect his children.
Yeah.
Of course he's gone crazy.
But you're thinking he's like a normal person. With a healthy mindset.
No, I'm saying he's a person that went crazy. That's not a healthy mindset. He's a person that feels like they didn't properly protect their own kids.
Which
and
is true.
Blaming themselves.
Which is true. And
Yes.
yes.
So that's not him being a normal, healthy-minded person.
Yes.
If you are traumatized, you will see images within your head of your trauma repeatedly, whether some person with Titan powers is making you think that or not.
You're
It
right.
is not a surprise to me that
isn't
Mr. Jaeger is able to see these things.
That isn't the argument that I'm making, because you're right. People who are traumatic have images of the trauma that they experienced, and that is 100% correct. What I'm saying is that the person who ended up doing these awful things that I think both of us can agree with, awful things that he did and now is regretting, after the fact of him doing them, every time we saw him was anything but regret. He turned his own, Zeke turned his own parents in and then presumably lived a very happy life with this man. Mm-hmm. What changed of him coming out of his, what you're, I think, alluding to is that there was off-screen character development of Jaeger that led him to realize the mistakes that he made. What inside of this effed up world of Eldia that we live in could have given him the perspective shift that would do this much to change his mind when he's been completely engrossed in this world his entire life and has never known anything different?
Because it's performance. He was the mother was crying. The father was not. It was all performance in this steadfast, we have to speak kind of Marley and we need to believe this. All of them are trying so hard to act and believe these things to protect their families.
I know a lot of them are.
He didn't protect either of his kids.
Yeah.
Both of them died. It is not a shock at all that he ended up in the position he's in.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not trying to convince you it is. Because you're right. I'm saying Eren is thinking like you are, and you are trying to make this person who has only ever thought different, or making this person who has only ever thought different, like unclouding their judgment and realizing all the fucked up things they did for the first time in the world.
You think this is him realizing it for the first time ever?
No, but I think that Eren might be the reason that he's in there to begin with.
No, I think this
That's
guy was
fair.
already crazy before Eren showed up. He already realized... I think that's a lot of power to give to Eren, that he was able to basically turn his grandfather insane by showing up. Without his grandfather knowing that was him.
Well, I agree, because I don't think just showing up would have done it. I don't know what would have done it. But can you at least give me that if there was some character development off screen that led him to this end, I would like to see the moment that broke him. Can we see that moment? Can you make that happen?
I mean, I can't make it happen. I don't know if they'd ever give it to it.
Would you want to see
It could have
that?
been steady. It could have been slow. He's also elderly, so he could have some other issues that are going on with his health that could have brought about this kind of
Do you
break.
think that Zeke... What do you think Zeke's part in this is? Do you think that Zeke just comes around and visits his sick father who regrets doing... sick grandfather who regrets doing this?
Probably.
Yeah?
And I think that seeing this scene, what it's supposed to make us think about is, does this change any theories we have or any ideas of what Zeke's true intentions or motives are?
No, I think it does. And that's why I brought it up.
I think that's what this scene is for, is to make us start thinking again about Zeke and why he's doing what he's doing.
Well, I agree. I'm with you on that. I think that it does give you an image of, okay, Zeke is on a different... has a different set of motives that we are unaware of, and
Right.
we don't, and what we think aren't correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting. And then next we get the candidates as servers.
Yeah, there's servers at the fancy banquet.
If you're like attending this banquet, right?
Mhm.
You're one of the lucky many
You're
chosen.
a leader from a different nation.
Yeah. And is it like a terrifying privilege to be given to be able to just attend an event where the next candidates of the Titans are waiting on you hand and foot? Is it an intimidation thing? Like, obviously they like some people aren't too happy about or don't love all of these visitors who are visiting currently.
I think it's almost like having the candidates as servers at this event is basically just almost like Marley bowing and being like, see, look, the heroes of our tomorrow are waiting on your hand and foot, you know, to kind of, because I think Tiber's whole thing here is to avoid another war, and these are all other nations that they have fought with and or hate Eldians, hate the Titan power, have bones to pick with them. And I think using the candidates, the future successors of these powers, as basically like, look, they're your servants.
Yeah.
They are here to serve us, not to stand in the way of us elite.
Yeah. We saw like the first attempt at a speech being given was like, our enemies we made yesterday are enemies today. Sorry, yeah, but
and like everyone looked so angry.
Here's a thought: what if any thought that Tiber's trying to kill all the Eldians and get all these people to agree with it, and like be like that's what's best, and I'm the like my family's the only one who gets a power, but the power's just gonna go get knocked on, right? Or passed on.
Well, he can't just kill all of these Eldians.
Yeah.
Because he'd have to kill all of the ones in Paradis too.
Yeah. I think that's why I don't think that's the most likely thing.
It isn't the most likely theory for him to end up kind of being some form of villain. I don't really vibe with him being a villain at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like he has potential motive, notoriety to be a villain, the money to be a villain, the power to be a villain. But I don't really get that feeling from him.
Any shot that he obviously throughout this episode, I saw his family and I was like, Annie's dad or Annie's family, right? Which I'm still thinking. Any shot this is the guy who is talking to Annie in the flashbacks?
This guy seems like he's in his 20s.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
He's in like he's in somewhere in his 20s. I think he's the head of the family, but I don't think he is the old enough to be Annie's.
The one daughter, the similarities are pretty striking, no? For Annie?
Maybe.
Or maybe they're doing it just to mess with us?
I mean, like, Zofia looks a lot like Annie, too, and Zofia's not related to the Tibers.
But the nose.
Zofia has, like, Annie's whole face. Just with, like, different color eyes.
Maybe I'm, like, too
hair.
obsessed with hair. Yeah. Maybe.
If anything, when we first saw Zofia, I was like, I wonder if she's, like, an off-branch of Annie's family.
That could also be the case, though, no?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, we have Gabby and Reiner as an example. They're within the same family.
Yeah, Zofia does give me an Annie vibe as well. They also had the same haircut, Zofia and the girl who I thought was an Annie family member. Maybe Zofia's a secret, member of the
And if we're going
Tibers.
with nose, like, Udo has that same nose, too.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when you're, like, trying to pick out, like, slight differences in color of hair, and obviously that's how we've operated up into this point, into guessing if people are related, because that's all we have is a lot of the visual and seeing if it fits contextually.
Yeah. Okay. On to the after credit. Just to what could Eren have told Falco to be like, go get Mr. Reiner and bring him over here?
Maybe he said he wanted to thank Reiner or something. Like, I would just really love to thank that guy because he's a soldier that was injured in this war, that just happened. And maybe he just really would love to thank Reiner. And maybe Falco's like, yeah, Reiner's awesome. Of course, like, I'm actually know him.
Okay,
and,
okay, so like with that narrative that you just started, let's play with that, right? So I am Falco and you're Eren and you're asking me to do this with your reason, right?
Yes.
Your fake reason.
Yes.
So give it to me.
Hello, I am Eren. and I don't want to go home to my family, but I want them to know that I'm okay. And so I have been having you, young child, mail secret letters for me. And, you know, I fought really hard, and yes, I'm not injured now, but I saw the horrific side of war, and the only thing that helped me feel at the end of the day like I could get home and I could be safe and alive, and that Marley would survive and keep being amazing as it is Reiner Braun, and how amazing Reiner Braun is. And I only wish that I could thank that man and shake his hand, and maybe if I met him and I got to touch him, I would then feel strong and brave myself, and I could go home and face my family and face the world again after seeing such horrific events.
Okay, why does it have to be in this moist, moldy, dark basement?
Well, I mean, it would probably be an embarrassment to Reiner of such high he has such high standing. He's an honorary Marleyan. I think he would be embarrassed to meet with me, and I would be embarrassed to meet with him in the state that I'm in. I mean, look at me. I have my hair overgrown. I haven't shaved. I'm just a sad sack who isn't actually sick and hasn't left the hospital.
People typically don't put their chairs right in front of the door. It's unnerving when people walk in.
I just want to be ready. I want to see him as soon as he walks in, and I want to be able to greet him as soon as he walks in.
Like, it's a very bizarre, like, set of circumstances you're, like, asking of a kid to try to do.
Like, Falco's, like, so excited. Like, come on, I have a present for you, Ryder. Come on, follow me.
Like, he's thinking it's, like, some, like, 23andMe reveal.
Yeah, like honestly, he's like, this is good.
You guys are old war buddies.
But why would... Falco has this excitement about him that I don't know if could fully be explained by, he calls this man his friend, this man he's been mailing letters for, because he's been going to have nice talks with him. That excitement, is that purely just, I'm going to introduce Reiner to this friend of mine, or is it like,
Here,
know,
this time...
excitement, like because it's not like Eren could have said anything to Falco that would make Falco believe that Reiner would want to meet this man.
Okay, this time I'm Eren and you're Falco. Hey, little man, I'm gonna convince you to do this for me without lying one time. Okay, Anna. Okay. Hello, little man. I spent years of my early life struggling and training through the military and was having a very tough time at it. But there was always some big brother-like figure to reach out a helping hand to help pick me up when I was down. And we fought together for years and trained together and went through so many hardships and losses together. I just want to see him one more time. You know, like all of that's true.
You also got me in a place of, when you brought up this big brother character, I mean, that's another idea. Like, Eren could have spun this story of a big brother character who sacrificed their life in the war, protected Eren in the war, and that's why he's not truly injured, but that's why he doesn't want to go home, because he's going home without this person, this big brother character that sacrificed himself. And if Falco opened up and was like, I feel like Reiner Braun is like a big brother character to me, then that kind of like, you can meet the guy that I feel like has that same energy you're saying your friend that died did.
He told me all about how Berthold died and how bloody it was and awful. How the enemy just crushed him in teeth, like just to fuck with Reiner a little bit more. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like crazy.
Falco's like really excited. Like, he doesn't suspect anything. He thinks that this is like going to be a really fun time. He thinks that both Reiner and this friend are going to get something out of this.
Yeah.
He thinks they are all going to get something. He's also like, it's almost like Eren.
It's frantic.
It's like Eren just recently asked this of him. Like, where did Falco go? And now Falco's running to Reiner. Like,
well, like, it's hard not... Oh, that's Armin.
The guy with the hat?
Yeah. That's Armin. Right?
Looks tall to be Armin. I mean, Armin could have grown. I mean, like, I'm so silly. Like, he was a 16-year-old boy. Like, they have growth spurts. So it could be Armin. A tall Armin.
How do I
don't
get
know
it,
how
like,
I feel about that.
How do I... Like, Funimation. Like, everything's still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like going away off the screen unless you
what
click
if I
play.
put it into window thing and blow it? I don't
What,
know if
window
it's...
thing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to show up on OBS, but...
It is. It's showing up on OBS.
Okay.
So there is a man's with somewhat of a blonde kind of chopped off haircut that fits Armin's signature style.
Maybe not.
It's-
Maybe it is just a man, but I don't know. It could be at this point. We don't know.
We honestly don't know who's there. And like, I think you still think like it was Jean and Aaron. They're the only ones I believe we've been given any evidence to suspect are there.
Why is it in the basement? Okay, so I got interrupted. My train of thought was interrupted by potentially seeing Armin there. But why are we in a basement? Other than the fact that it's funny to me, like right here and now.
It just seems so like Falco. Why did you think this was safe to lead this person into this?
Well, from Aaron's
secret tunnel.
From Aaron's point of view and potential objective here, which we don't know. What would be the reason that you're trying to get Reiner alone?
And underground.
We know it's a place that could be potentially easy to kill Titans in. That's what they tried to do with Annie in the end of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how deep it is though. So it could be like a I'll take you out one-on-one here kind of thing, or an ambush. It could be because something's gonna go on outside.
I think that if you were going to meet with someone to have a talk with them, you'd want to meet on an equal playing field, especially if you're having like peace treaty talks or just wanting to have a conversation that doesn't involve fighting. You would meet in a place that puts both of you at a disadvantage. And this is that place, an underground room where if both of them turned into Titans, they wouldn't truly be able to fight each other because they are underground. So it is almost like just like a peace talk kind of thing. Like they will not be fighting in this scenario. They are just here to have a chat.
It's like doesn't it give you like a moment? It's like, it's been 4 years, Reiner. It's like you like graduated high school with like this friend, and then you ignored him and ghosted him all throughout college, and then meet like at a high school reunion after college, and it's just like this guy, like you walk into the cafeteria for a reunion and it's just like this one dark, like greasy man who looks slightly like moist critical, and he's like, "It's been 4 years, Reiner. You haven't returned my calls." Interesting. So you and I are both under the assumption that Aaron can just like snap his fingers and have another leg and an eye, right?
Oh, well, yeah, I think he could just start healing.
We've seen Reiner grow back a head. Oh, man. Look Falco's so hyped. He's so excited.
I did what you asked of me.
Yeah.
Mr. Kruger. Gosh.
So
here's the lesson, kids. Don't become friends with strangers that are adult men. And or adult women. I think if you're a kid and there's a stranger and they are an adult, do not befriend them and do favors for them. Just don't do that.
A crazy thought to think.
What?
Aaron only has 4 years left.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
His time is definitely decreasing.
It's interesting. What do you want to like leave the world with?
Also, isn't this kind of the perfect moment for Aaron to do this last year of both Zeke and Reiner's life? Does he want to like it? Like that phrase, "It ends with us."
Yeah.
Maybe he wants whatever this is to be the end with the original players.
So is it going after him? Is it going after Reiner because he has a year left because he knows where the power is right now? Or is it going after Reiner because he has a year left and you don't want him to die in the comfort of his own life? Even though that he was literally about to kill himself. Like...
All I can think right now is that Aaron just wants to talk.
Mm.
And I don't know if that means he's going to tell Reiner the plan or... I mean, it could be that he's like, "Reiner, this is what we're gonna do. All the players are already ready. This is gonna happen. You can either let it happen or you can fight it, and that's up to you.
I just imagine Reiner tackling Eren and Falco being like, Mr. Braun, why are you tackling someone without a leg and an eye? You know?
Right, is Falco going to exit for this talk? You know, are they going to shut the door?
I don't know.
I don't think Falco is necessary. I don't know if he would necessarily be present for this. I don't think Reiner would want him present. I don't think Eren would necessarily want him present for a talk. I could see him maybe shutting the door and like listening in, maybe running back upstairs.
I hope that there's like the last time Eren and Reiner had a good talk was on a tree branch. You think there's any tree branches in there? Is a chair
but, like, it's probably
a tree
good
branch?
talk. I mean, technically it once was. So I think this
This
we're
could be
possibly getting into a talk. Like
a tree branch
deep
part
talk.
2.
Yeah. Which I am for, because that episode blew me away by the fact that it was like an entire episode of just dialogue.
Yeah.
They didn't move. The scene did not change. The characters did not change. We were in the same place and we were just talking.
And we technically have a tree branch on hand.
Yeah, we
At
have a
least
dead
one.
tree branch.
But I don't know.
One that has been given new life as a chair for people's butts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm excited. See where it goes.
Gosh, Zeke, do you not have like a radar inside your body being like, I feel like a family member's around here?
Start like thinking about closing this discussion off is a little anxiety inducing because I'm unnerved. I think that bad's coming. You know, I just have a pit in my stomach that it's not gonna be easy to consume next couple episodes.
I don't know if I feel the same. I think I feel different about like mine doesn't feel like a doom feeling. It feels like Aaron's got you, you mice. You're in his trap.
I don't know how I feel about Eren. It's been 4 years.
Oh, so you don't know, like, is that technically even a good thing if you don't know if you're on the side of Eren anymore because you don't know who he is anymore?
I don't know what his intention is. Is his intention to ruin Gabby and... It sucks because, like, Gabby and Falco, sure, if you break it out and look at it from, like, an eagle-eyed view, it's a fucked up situation for the Eldians to be in and they shouldn't be in it. That being said, Falco right now just confessed his love to a girl. He's doing better in, like, these, like activities. I don't want Falco to die,
we're
you know?
painting them as like a reverse Mikasa Eren. Like Gabby and Mikasa both the stronger one, but the reverse is the crush. Like Mikasa loves Eren and then Falco loves Gabby. So like we have like a slight reversal there.
I am easier to forgive a child for
Their wrongdoings.
For their wrongdoings because of the environment they were raised in.
Well, that's why it was so easy for us to love Reiner and Bertholdt.
Yeah. I don't want anything bad to happen to Falco and his gang and Gabby.
I don't feel like anything bad is going to happen to Falco necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's gonna die. Gabby, we've talked about how we feel like the only way for Falco to inherit and be the successor of the Armored Titan would be either something happens to Gabby that is bad or right place, right time. You know, like this is the chance. Reiner's about to die. Right place, right time.
I think this is it, though. I think that 4 episodes in, I think we're done with not seeing our characters anymore. I think that if that was Armin, we're going to know next episode. If that was Jean, we're probably going to know next episode.
Yeah, and like Reiner's mom will know because she's going to look out the window like during this festival and she's just going to see a lady walking down the street with a potato, eating it.
That's what gives it away.
And she's going to be like, oh, and like faint. And then all of the scouts
Has
just
to
jump
happen.
off the roofs. There we go. That's the like moment where people are going to realize stuff's about to happen.
I like it.
Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.